someone moves us an answer.
Thank you.
Their Majesties summon forth Lady Constance de Saint-Denis.
He asked you a question earlier in the day, whether you would join this guest order here assembled, and you now have your answer. Very good. We would ask, is there a member of the Order of Chivalry that will speak on behalf of this candidate?
Your Majesty, I claim that honor. Your Majesty, many people will speak today to you of Constance's service, of her drive to help others. I will speak of a different quality. When you seek out a new member of chivalry, you look for many virtues. You look for honor, you look for martial prowess, charity, perhaps humility. But the most important quality is that of bravery. And that is a quality that Constance Saint-Denis has in abundance. In our society, it is sometimes easy to break rules or make exceptions, especially for those of high rank who get used to special treatment. Some gentles find it easy to relent under the pressure of a ducal coronet or perhaps the threat of a white belt, implicit as it might be. Constance is a different sort. Constance is willing to face down any gentle, be they a commoner at their first gathering or a ducal peer, to ensure that the rules are applied fairly and evenly to any and all. I would say that she has bravery greater than many knights standing on the battlefield for her willingness to stand up to any and all who come before her. I commend her to your Majesties. She is my peer.
Thank you, Sir Colin.
Is there a Lady of the Rose who would speak for this candidate?
Your Majesties, I have that honor. I have two Constance stories. When I was in my coronation gown that my seamstresses had spent many, many hours making, and I thought, oh my God, how am I going to get to this day in these horrible shoes? I had bought recently a pair of glitter ball disco chucks. And I had decided I was going to wear them underneath my coronation gown. And Constance says, Your Highness, you cannot do that thing. Constance, why not? The gown goes on here, it's got a train, no one's going to see anything. Your Highness, she said, you must make a good example, even in places where people cannot see you have made a good example. You cannot just make an example on the outside. You must make a good example on the inside. And I have lived by those words ever since. And I had a second story, but now I'm going to cry. The best part about Constance is we agree together on very little. We disagree about just everything. But what Constance is really good at is allowing you to have your opinions, for her to have her opinions, and to allow everyone the courtesy to continue and exist in this space even though we disagree. This is a peer-like quality, to allow others to be as they are, to honor their opinions even when you do not agree with them. And so, Your Majesties, I commend you to her. She is certainly my peer.
Thank you.
Is there a member of the Order of the Laurel?
There is, Your Majesty. I am Stephen Up Kenneth of Silverwing, and this lady, I am proud to say, is of my kindred. Lady Constance's service to the East and the known world has been long and diverse, but it is for me today to speak of her activity in relation to the arts. She has honored the arts, both as a facilitator and a practitioner. She served with great dedication as Minister of Arts and Sciences in Carolingia. She has fed the hungry, she has clothed the naked, and she has helped others learn to do the same. And many documents that cover many walls in the homes of those your majesties and your predecessors have honored were crafted by her skilled hand. I commend her to your majesties and to the noble order of the Pelican, that she be recognized as an exemplar of our highest ideals and a peer of the realm. Thank you.
Is there a member of the Order of the Pelican who would speak?
Your Majesties, I am Mistress Catrin of Ridford, and I would speak for this woman. When the Order of Pelican looks at a candidate and seeks to advise you, we consider their work, we consider the impact their work has had on your kingdom, and we consider the qualities they bring to that work. And as I have thought on the many years I have known Constance, I found that her work and all of these fell neatly into three areas that are typified by the peers who have spoken before me. Constance, 2 years ago, I needed an autocrat for an event. I was very, very thrilled that Constance volunteered. Because when Constance does service, when she offers to do something, she approaches it much as the Order of the Laurel approaches their art. There is research, there is careful planning, and there is meticulous execution, and it is done with great skill. And when she does this, to some extent, it is her art. She makes it possible for the rest of us to practice ours or to simply have fun. She does it with an emphasis on people that Sir Colin has phrased in a way slightly different than I would. Although the word I would have used and will use is fierce. Whether she is running a novice schola, in which she is trying to make sure, with great determination, that everyone who is new really knows everything they need to know, or whether perhaps she would like to make sure as a royal retainer that their majesties might have eaten or drunk, she brings fierce concern in caring, which is. And this leads me to courtesy and the ladies of the rose. And this has somewhat been touched on, but once again, in my own way. Many of us, if not most of us in this room, have pulled into Penzic. And we are tired. And if we have come from this area, chances are we are very tired and possibly a little stupid. I certainly have pulled into Penzic, unloaded a car full of children, walked through that gate and said, oh, thank God there's Constance. Because whether I am going to be a babbling idiot, whether I am going to pull out something that isn't my license or whatever she needed, I know it's going to be okay. And even if you don't know Constance, you know it's going to be okay when you walk through there, because there is that smile. There is that absolutely wonderful smile that says, I care, and whatever it is, it's going to be okay, and we'll get you to your campsite. It's all right. Your Majesties, with all my heart, I commend her to you.
Having heard from our noble peers, you would ask.
And knowing the truth of their words ourselves.
You would ask if there's a medallion.
There is, Your Majesty. May I? This was Caitlin's. It was her first medallion, sent to her slightly before her Pelican into the spoiler, by a senior president's clerk of the society. In the past 2 years, there have only been maybe half a dozen times I've been able to say with absolute confidence that I know what Caitlin would have wanted. This is one of those times. She would have been proud. She was always proud. So am I.
Great weight. Is there a mantle? On hook. Can you tell us what it's made of?
I was assisted in the production of this cloak by a number of very able embroiderers, including Mistress Morwenna, Katerina, Cassandra, Johanna of Glastonbury, Catriona of Greenwood Isle, Gisela Vanier, and Clara Beaumont. There is much love in this cloak.
This was made by Mistress Nicolette Bonhomme.
By Edward the King and Thur the Queen, to our servant Constance de Saint-Denis, dear and well beloved, we do greet you well. Your many doings and competent stewardship are well known unto our wisdom. Yet, while you act the poor clerk and domestic servant, your bearing and service are not servile, but are commendable, worthy, and honorable. In word and deed, you show benevolence and favor unto all people, from the meanest to the greatest. Having consideration of the good service that you do, in which things you deserve our special thanks, it is our right good and singular pleasure to elevate your station to the order of the Pelican and endow you with arms by letters patent, per pale, azure, and argent, a bordure embattled counterchanged. Calligraphy and illumination, Mistress Ava Woodrose. Words by Mistress Catrin de Orr and Mistress Alice McIntosh. For Mistress Constance, newest member of the Order of the Pelican. Vivat!